Okay, so before directly going to the introduction of the project management and part, just we split this part, that is project and management. Okay, so first of all we'll go for the management. What do you mean by the management? Okay, management means it is the getting the management, it is an art. Okay, it is an art of getting things done from others in optimum time and cost. Okay, so suppose if you want to construct any bungalow, what you will do? Of course, all the things you are not going to do individually. All the things you are not going to do individually. Just you will assign all the things to different person. Okay, and you will just you will observe all the person whether they are doing their work or not. Okay, just you will be an observer only. Okay, so if you want to construct a bungalow, then just you will assign different activities to different persons, and that activity you are going to manage to do in a proper time and proper cost. Okay, that is a, of course, proper means optimum, minimum time duration and minimum cost. Okay, so of course this management is an art. Okay, because you have to manage the persons which are involved in different activity, as well as management, it is also a science. Okay, why I am going to call it as science? Because to manage all the things, we are going to apply a science. Okay, by the application of science, we are going to get the things done from the others. Okay, so simple, in the simple words, what do you mean by management? You are just getting the work done through other. Okay, in proper time and cost. Okay, so this is called as a management. Next, what is meant by project? Okay, project, it is, every project has a definite start and end. Okay, so it involves a group of different activities, and of course all that different activities are sequentially and logically connected with each other. Okay, so simple, suppose you want to construct a bungalow, then first of all you have to go for the excavation, next you go for the line out. First of all, there is a line out. Next, there will be excavation. Next, there will be a foundation. Next, there will be, we will go up to the plinth level. After that, we'll go for construction of beam. Next, we'll go for column. Next, we will go for the slab casting. Okay, so these are different activities to be done at the time of construction of a project. Okay, of any project. Okay, just as we are in the civil engineer, just we are going to consider the example which is related to us. Okay, that's why I'm going to consider example of a construction of a one bungalow. Okay, so construction of a bungalow, we can call this as a one project. Okay, of course every project should have a one particular start and end. Okay, so that is called as a project. Okay, next, of course it is sequentially and logically connected to each other. Okay, all the activities are, we are going to provide it in particular manner, that is in particular sequence, as well as, and all that activities are connected to each other logically. Okay, that's why there is a particular sequence, and we are going to follow that particular sequence, and we are going to complete a project which is having particular start and end. So this is what a project, and this is what a management. Now just combine it, that is the project management. What is my project management? So simple, just we want to manage a project. Project management means just we want to manage a project from its idea to completion. Okay, so just completing, just is not that just we are going to have an idea. Okay, just we have to execute that idea, that is also important. Okay, so project management starts from the idealization to completion of that project. Okay, so this total is called as a project management. Okay, so next part we'll consider the different objectives of the project management. What are the objectives of project management? So first objective of the project management is project should be completed within minimum time duration. Of course, this is the first requirement of a project. It should be completed within minimum time duration. Okay. And of course, to have that minimum time duration, it's not expected that you should use more resources, and that's why you are getting that project in time. Okay. It is, of course, using more resources, that is also not advisable, because if you use more resources, more manpower or more equipments at a single time, that means you are spending lot of money. Okay. So just first step is, just within time you have to try to complete the given project. Okay. At the same time, you have to consider the second aspect, that is you should use available manpower and available other resources. Okay. So such as uh, other resources, such as different material. Okay. Equipments. Okay. So suppose you are going to construct a bungalow at or building at the Rajasthan. Okay. That means at if you are going to construct at that place, that means you have to use manpower which is available in the vicinity of the uh, your your bungalow, or what is you are going to construct. Okay. So in the vicinity, what is available, that you have to think first of all. Okay. So that is the important thing. Okay. That's why the manpower will get in with lower lower money consumption, as well as if you consider resources. Okay. So of course, in Rajasthan there is a huge availability of sand. Okay. Might be by using different concrete mix design, you can go for using that sand also. Okay. So if you are using that sand, of course that is locally available at that place. Okay. So if you are using that sand, okay, so this is that so you'll the total cost of the project might be get reduced. So this is the main important thing in project management, that is you should use available manpower as well as available resources which are in the vicinity of the project. Okay. Of course, while looking towards the availability of the manpower and resources, again you have to keep in mind time. Okay. For the availability of the manpower or availability of the resources, you can't stop your work. Okay. Your work should be continued. Okay. That's why you can complete the given project without delay. Okay. That thing is also important. All the things you have to do without delay. Okay. Next, third important thing is investment cost. Investment cost should be minimum and without delay in the project. Okay. This is what I have discussed in the first and second objective. Okay. Investment cost can be minimized by using available manpower and available resources. Okay. And by connecting logically with these two things, manpower and the resources, you can complete the project without delay. Okay. So this is the third important thing. Next important thing is the planning of a project. So how to do planning? Planning of a project. But in the planning, the two things are important. That is, in the planning, we are going to check technical and financial flexibility. What it means? Suppose we are going to construct one apartment, or we are going to construct one infrastructure. Okay. In that case, you should have a proper technical team. Okay. So that technical team will support you at every stages, as well as there must be a financial flexibility also. Like I've given you flexibility. Okay. Technical as well as financial means, if there is one project manager who is looking after the total uh, construction of that building, if he is not available at that time, then there must be some flexibility that other should other than the project management, they can handle the project with, okay, that means they, okay. And the next part is the financial flexibility. Of course, financial flexibility should be also considered. Okay, so suppose if there is some crisis, then if the owner is not having some that much amount of fund to construct to go for the construction, okay, then at that time the total work can be minimized. Okay, total work may be minimized to certain extent. Okay, minimize means just will use less manpower, just will use less resources. Okay, and of course that, and again flexibility means, again suppose owner is having a good amount of the money, then that by using different extra manpower or the extra resources, he, it, he can complete the total given project. So that is called flexibility. Flexibility means at both conditions we are going to consider, when we are having more technical persons, or when we are having more financial things, or when we are having both the technical and financial are less. At that time we are going to work so that we are going to have a complete project without delay. Okay, so these are the important things to be considered for planning, because planning provides us a direction. Planning provides a particular direction in which direction you have to do the work. That is important. Okay, for every project, the direction is important. Okay, next part, it provides a particular defined framework. Okay, so of course, before going to any project, we should know a particular framework. Okay, we should work within that framework itself. Okay, that is important. Next, it helps to reveal future opportunities and threats. Okay. While planning, we should know the different future opportunities. What are the different future opportunities we can get from this project? That also we have to reveal before starting of a project. Okay. So this is a part of planning. And next, of course, you should also uh, reveal the future threats also. What it means, suppose just first of all we'll consider opportunities. So suppose you are going to construct one mall at one place. Okay, so you should reveal the future opportunities. So whether that you are going to construct one commercial complex, that means in the vicinity of that there must be, after of course the project must be completed within 2 to 3 hours. Okay, 2 to 3 years. Okay, so if you want to going to construct one mall or commercial complex, at that time we should look after, you should uh, in their mind there must be a planning of future 3 years, 3 to 4 years. That is, if you are constructing a commercial complex, that means after 3 to 4 years, in the vicinity of that complex there must be a proper opportunities for the commercialization. Okay, there must be proper opportunities. So that is our prediction. Okay, next, threats. So suppose you are going to construct a commercial complex, and suppose you are having the uh, construction of casting of a slab in the in the rainy season itself. Okay, so at that time you have to tackle the threats also. Or in the rainy season, how to cast slab, or how to go for the casting of a slab, or what different planning or what different techniques you have to do for that. So these are different threats you have to reveal before going to start of a project. So that is part of a planning. This part, that third thing is more important. Okay, in case of planning of a project. Okay, next part is, it provides a performance standards. Of course, you can complete a project in any way. Okay, but you have to consider different standards. You have to follow particular standards. Okay, by following particular standards, you can complete a project. If you are going to complete a project by following particular standards, and if you are performing like that, that means your construction quality will be good. Okay, so of course while constructing any infrastructure, we are going to consider IS code. Whatever whatever standards given in the IS code, that we are going to consider at the time of construction. Okay, so that is, this part is also important. There is fourth part. There is of course it is a part of a planning. Okay, next part, that is identifying the resources. Identifying the resources. In this case, just we have to remember this 5W. Okay, so what, how, where, who, when. Okay, so identifying the resources. So first of all, again, first of all, you have to identify the material resources. So of course, which material you choose? You try to choose the material which is locally available. If you try to choose the material which is locally available, that means the transportation cost will be reduced, as well as the uh, the, the actual cost of the material will be also, we are getting that material in the cheaper rate. Okay, that's why it is the material allocation, material resources. Second thing, equipments. So which equipment you have to use, that is also important. Which equipment you are going to use. So of course, to suppose if you are having a large project, that means at that time you can go for the number of equipments. Okay, so there is no restriction. Okay, but the project quantity is small, then at that time you have to go for the limited equipments. Okay, uh, of course by using equipments, the time required for the every activity to be done is reduced. Okay, but at the same time, the cost of the project is also increasing, because you are using huge equipments, and for the huge equipments there is you are required to invest money. Okay, so that is a also important thing. Okay, so you have to identify the equipment that we are going to use for the construction. That is also important. Next part is the space. Of course, suppose if you are going to stack raw material, if you want to stack a raw material, that is aggregate, sand, cement. Okay, so where to stack all the material? So that space allocation, that is also important. Okay, so of course that sand, aggregate must be near to each other. That's why we can go for the concrete mixing. So, and next part, the space allocation for the cement. That space allocated must be within particular shelter. That means that particular temperature will be maintained. Temperature and humidity should be maintained for the cement stacking. Okay, so that is the regarding space allocation. Also in space allocation, you have to consider the space allotment for the equipments also. Okay, so number of equipments if you are going to use for the construction, then that equipment needs to be parked in the vicinity of your construction space. Okay, so that is the space allocation. Space to be allocated for material as well as the equipments. The next part is manpower. So who is going to do this? So who is going to do the project? Of course, man is going to do the project. Manpower is required for everything. If you are having a lot of equipment, still to run that equipment, again manpower is required. Okay, so again you have to use locally available manpower. You have to try for locally available manpower. That's why the cost will be reduced. Next, when. So time span is also important. Identify the time. So when you have to start the project and when you have to end up the project. Okay, so start and end of the project, and again between start and end, there are different activities are involved in this project. All these activities you have to perform within time by using all these resources, that is material, equipment, space, manpower, all this, using all these resources. We have to complete a project within time. Okay, so this part is over now. Now next part is the scheduling. Next part is the scheduling. So while scheduling, just you have to sequence of all activities so that to optimize 3M. 3M is, that is money, manpower, and material. Just you have to optimize these three things, that is 3M: money, manpower, and material. Okay, and also of course time. Okay, just by scheduling a total project, you can optimize 3M and time. Okay, so of course most of the part of the project, that is cost of the project, is dependent on this scheduling. Scheduling of the project must be accurate so that we are having a lesser, we achieve a project with optimized M and time. Okay, so this part is more important by planning any project, that is scheduling is important. Okay, next part is controlling and updating. Controlling and updating. What it means? Controlling. So just we have to observe a given project. Okay, just observe the given project. So while observing every project, just observe every different activity which is going, which are ongoing, or which are to be done in future. That all things you have to monitor. Okay, a good project manager have to monitor all the things. Okay, which is going on the at actual project, as well as he should uh, predict which activity next, what is the next activity. That is also important. Okay, so controlling, what is means, just first of all observe all the things which is going on. Next, suppose whether whether the whether all the activities are running as per the schedule or not, that you have to check. Suppose all the activities are, so some activities are not going as per the schedule. Okay, then at that time you have to go for controlling. Controlling means you have to if one activity is pending, or if it is having it has consumed more time, then you have to go for more allocation of the different resources, that is material and manpower or equipment. By using all these three, just you have to complete that activity within stipulated time. That means we are going to control that activity. Okay, by providing extra manpower, resources, and or the material. Okay, so this is the part. Next part is the updating. Okay, next we'll go for updating. So of course, before starting a project, we have scheduled a project. Okay, but somehow with different threads, so that schedule is not followed properly. That means again you have to update that given schedule. That is the updating of a schedule. Okay. By controlling and updating of schedule, you can again revise the given total project so that you can complete the given project within stipulated time and investment of money. Okay. Next, last part, that is the execution. Execution involves starting from the ideation of the project and up to the completion of the project. Okay, of course, from starting to ending up of a project, there is involved, there are different activities are involved. Okay, for different activity we are assigned different people. Okay, of course, to complete any project, all these persons which are allocated different activity, they should have a proper communication between themselves. Okay, so that is a part of the execution. Okay, so every activity has assigned different people. Different people uh, should communicate and coordinate between themselves, so that different activity will not get overlapped. Okay, or if they are overlapping, what is to be done. Okay, that is a part of execution. In that case, in the part of execution, the coordination between the different team members, that is important. Okay, so next part is the agencies.